Hello everyone and welcome to Day 7 of Invictus Fleetweek 2022 Star Citizen. Today we have a new set of manufacturers, another combo day. Today we have Crusader is the main one, as you can see by the transports behind me. We also have MISC and Tumbril. MISC is not huge in the military space, but they do have a few things that are useful. And then of course Temporal isn't into spaceships so much, but they do have some of the best ground vehicles in the game. I'm going to start the tour off by going into one of the Crusader M2s. This is the somewhat militarized transport. It has more transport capacity than the gunship, which we'll go to in a little bit, and less transport capacity than the straight up transport, which is right next to it. If this does look like a C5 Galaxy to a lot of you, that's because its design was inspired by it, and undoubtedly a little bit of maybe B2 in the cockpit area. Okay, so here's the main deck of the M2. Over here, there is seating for, they say aux crew, but it's really jump seats for Marines or whoever you're taking in. This is a military transport made to go into hot zones and deliver hardware to the ground, plus some troops. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot for a ship this size, but some nonetheless. And over here is crew quarters. You can see that somebody took their little teddy bear with them. Looks like you can have 4 people in here, well, 4 bunks at least. And then of course there's a kitchen, which is super cozy. It kind of looks familiar. That table, like you might have a McCluskey sort of moment or something like that. I don't know what that is. Now I'm going to go back out to the main deck and head up to the bridge. There's not a whole lot to this ship. I mean, it is just a transport ship, so there's a lot of room in it. But as far as things to do and different rooms, there's not a whole lot. Okay, this is the main bridge. There's supposed to be a component there, I'm sure, but it's not there right now, so I'll just close that door. You have spots for co-pilot and gunner. There are a couple of turrets on this thing. It does have some defense, because it is meant to go into combat, or at least to be able to survive combat. And then there are 2 fairly large lasers that are undoubtedly gimbal mounted, at least maybe even turret mounted, that the pilot has access to in the front. As far as the rest of the ship, you've got your escape pods down here as we head back to the main area, and then of course the way in and out is through the elevator. Okay, now we're going to head into the A2, which is the attacking version. It's more of a gunboat, transport gunboat. It's got a lot more to it defensively, and we're going to go right past these tumblers. We'll pay attention to the tanks a little bit, because they're pretty cool. But this is kind of an assault gunboat transport. As you can see back here, one of the big differences is look at the size of those missiles, bombs. Missiles or bombs. I think they're missiles, or the effect is their torpedoes or missiles. They're a pretty big size. I'm going to go see if we can find the torpedo tube, just so we can see where they supposedly come out, because I'm not seeing exactly where. Maybe they drop out of, no, that's the elevator, that's not the door. Maybe they come out of that intake looking thing there, and they fly out that way. I'm not exactly sure. I've never fired them out of here. In fact, I've never flown an A2. That'd be kind of fun, actually. You could probably lay down a lot of hurt with missiles that size. It looks like it has 2 sets on each, or a set on each side, so you can send 2 at a time. I imagine the upstairs looks a lot like the downstairs, or the upstairs in the other one, so we're not even really going to go look. I think this one does have more turrets on it, so it's got more defense, and that's the main difference. Now we're going to go look into the Temporal Nova. This is the main battle tank of Star Citizen right now. It is very fun to use. The gun is very large, and it makes a pretty good explosion when you hit something. It's fairly easy to drive, very intuitive. Now what you do have to do to get up to shoot the gun is enter the turret. You can do it from the driver's side. You can do a lot from the driver's side, actually. So first you have to power it on, and then once you power it on, we gotta find the button to do it. Once it's powered on, there you go, enter remote turret, and there you go. Now you're in command of the main gun. I'm not sure if the co-pilot has a gun they can use, at least like a machine gun sort of thing that's a lot smaller. I don't know if they have one or not. Never been in the co-pilot seat, so not going to do it now either, because I probably would never be in the co-pilot seat. Okay, so now we're going to go up to the Ares. This is the Inferno model. This is it has a ballistic cannon versus the Ion, which is the energy-based weapon. That's all it's got, is the really big weapon. I think it's either size 6 or size 7, so it's a very big weapon, and the ship is essentially built around it. It's kind of like an A-10 of Star Citizen, but without the ground roll. It's more of a go punch above your weight sort of thing with this big cannon on a light and maneuverable ship. Fairly light and maneuverable ship. They did nerf these not too long ago. They used to be super powerful. Now they're not quite as powerful as they used to be, but they're still a formidable ship, especially if you're going against a larger target. You can really punch through their shields pretty quick. And with the Ion, you don't have to worry so much about ammunition, though you do have to worry about shields more, because the ballistics do kind of bleed through on the shields. Well, at least they're going to bleed through on the shields. Over there is the Ion version, the white one. Has an energy-based weapon, same size. You know, it still does a lot of damage. No ammo worries, but you have energy worries, and you have you have to penetrate shield more before you can do more damage to the ship. Now we're going to go on one of my favorites, is the Mercury Star Runner. It is a smuggling ship that also does a lot of information warfare. You can intercept signals and information and steal data from other people as they transmit it across the galaxy. Now this is the Smuggling Tunnel. That's where you put your smuggling goods, and they have these little tunnels underneath where you can sneak throughout the ship. This is not really the way you would normally go. This is just kind of showing you the under tunnels, and they go to several different rooms throughout the ship. It's a kind of cool little getaway and a good place to hide if somebody's boarding you, or you can hide the stuff you're trying to smuggle down there too. Supposedly not everybody knows to look for those, even though any player should know to look for those. It has 2 turrets, a top and a bottom. They sit in those seats there, and one goes up, one goes down. That's the true defense of the ship, because the pilot does not have a whole lot of power with his ship. He's got 2 size 2 weapons. They're not super great, but they'll do the job in a pinch. Yes, you can play chess on that chessboard in there. That's the recreation area and habitation. You got 3 beds over there, and a couple desks if you got to do some work. I don't believe there's a captain's quarters to this ship. We're going to go. It's not that big, so I don't think the captain gets their own quarters in a fairly small ship. So they call this the Millennium Falcon of Star Citizen, because it can do so much stuff, and the smuggling, of course, with the hidden compartments. We're gonna head up in here, and you can see you got the 2 not too great size of guns, but they'll help you out. This ship is kind of cool because you can see them shoot out from right underneath your feet, essentially, when you are in combat. But you really do want to carry somebody in the turret area if you're going to be fighting somebody for real. You're going to go in the server area. This is where data will get stored eventually. If you're trying to do data run missions, that server room is going to be important. And this is the seat where you would start listening in on signals from, or intercepting signals from other people. You gather data that can maybe tell you where something cool to find, or a good way through a jump point, or who knows what they're going to do, because this kind of gameplay is not in the game yet. It's just kind of on the horizon. It's going to be something that I think is going to be fun if they can figure out how to do it. Maybe you can even hack from here. I'm not sure about that. You know, it's still a lot up in the air what it's going to be. But as far as ships with versatility, the Mercury Star Runner is probably one of the best. It has a decent size cargo area, so you can do some decent sized cargo missions. It's not gigantic. It's not a C2, that's for sure. But you can transport a lot of good stuff in it. It has weapons to do some combat. You definitely want your turrets manned if you're going to be getting into too heavy a combat. It's a very fast ship for its size. It's fairly maneuverable. Yeah, it also has the information warfare, or the information gameplay aspect that we don't know what's going on with it yet. So in the long run, it is going to be one of the more useful, capable, probably more fun ships to play, because you're not going to be stuck, okay, I've just got to go dogfight somebody or find a bounty, or I just got to do cargo runs. You can do whatever you want. This can be your daily driver, being the ship that you use the most on a daily basis. Okay, we're going to go downstairs. We're going to look at some vehicles and what is coming out from these guys. I'm trying to think of what the Crusader thing might be. What is this? This is it's a Tumbril. What is it called? The Temporal Cyclone. So this is a cool little buggy. I really like that one with the missiles on top. That thing looks pretty badass. It seems like something you'd want to have if you're going to be involved in the ground battle. Eventually they're going to have areas covered with anti-aircraft, so you will have to come in with armed vehicles to kind of punch a hole into certain facilities. You can also use a Temporal Nova. That will definitely take care of any ground targets. And it has a decent range. It can fire about as far as the horizon is. Farther than you can really make out a target. I don't know if you can hit it very accurately, but you can fire that far. And what do we got? Oh, this is the Misc Odyssey. This is the exploration ship that was kind of a huge disappointment, if you ask me, because it was supposed to have refining capabilities on it, and that's what it had when they originally came out with this. I was like, okay, you can go out, you can mine, you can refine your stuff, and you can go explore the universe. Turns out you can only refine quantanium and only to make fuel for yourself, so you can go explore more, which kind of takes out an entire game loop that would have been a lot more fun to have. Also, its weaponry is not that great. It is a big ship. It's definitely exploration focused. It's supposed to have a good sensor suite, so maybe you can find some interesting things out there. Who knows? Because of course it's not out yet. But I wish it had good mining, a better mining capable, or better mining than it does. And then you have this Tumbril. This is the Cyclone, the motorcycle. They have hover vehicles in this game, so I don't know why you would want to have a wheeled vehicle, because it seems that that would just be restrictive as to where you can go. So I don't know what the point of having wheels on your motorcycle is when you can just fly over stuff. You don't have to worry about rocks or cliffs or big trees. Well, maybe trees, but I don't see the reason why you'd want a wheeled motorcycle, unless it's got something that the others don't. Okay, now we're going to come over here. I believe this is more MISC. Sure looks like it's more MISC. Now, MISC is Musashi Industrial something concern, so they're more industrial based. Oh, that thing is cool looking, actually. What is this? Oh, the Razor, the MISC Razor. I thought this was a racing ship, but they're saying that it's a stealth ship. It looks like it's more of a stealth like single person stealth transport. Though, like I said, that weapon looks pretty good for its size. I think it's supposed to be extremely fast. I do think people are using this for racing. It definitely looks sleek and fast. And it's got 2 engines in the back. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure people use that for racing. There's that in the M50 that people use for racing. And it's a nice looking ship. If I was just traveling myself and all I need to do is get from point A to point B really quick, that's what I would use. Especially if you don't want to be found or seen. There's the Reliant Core. It's a starter ship. It kind of flips upward like a B-wing. I like the other starships better, so I'm not even going to that one. Now the Freelancer. This is the MIS, which is more military geared. They have a bunch of different models of Freelancers. Throughout my time playing this game, I've been a little bit unfair to Freelancers because they always reminded me of kind of driving a bus when you're flying without it being an actual bus. Like if you're flying a C2 and it's like you're driving a bus or a big ass cargo airplane, then you expect it to be like that. But this is kind of like it's a smaller, supposed to be more maneuverable, more fighter like ship. So when it's got that kind of faraway cockpit with not great vision, and very much like you're flying at a 737, it's nice, but I like ones with better view that seem to be a little bit better in maneuverability. It is well armed though, and you'll see when we go outside that the guns are on the side on a gimbal, or it might even be remote turreted. It's got room for 4. By the way, the way to go in and out is over here. Really, I mean, you can go through the back like we did. But it's a much better ship than I've ever given it credit for, and I might end up buying one or two of those with credits when I can, because it's kind of cool looking. It's it's medium in its cargo capacity, it's medium in its fighting ability. It's kind of medium in a lot of things. I'd rather have a Star Runner than one of those, but that's just me. A lot of people love their Freelancers. Now this is the Starfarer Gemini, the gas tank of the universe. I was hoping I could get in this way so I don't have to go around back, but I don't think that's going to be an option. So this thing is huge. You're going to get lost in it the first few times. And they used to like to use this as a derelict ship where you'd have to go find the dead people floating around in it. And it has lots of nooks and crannies in it. And it's kind of confusing to get around in, which is why I think they used it as a derelict ship. As you can see, it's got seats for passengers, not ships for passengers. Decent little cargo bay for supplies when you're out there. And we're just going to kind of explore the ship. I'm not sure what that is. That might be a docking area. I don't know. There's a docking ring there. And that is nothing. So let's open up the docking ring just because why not? That way we can jump out if we really want to, but I don't think we really want to. We have a lot of ship to explore because this is a lot of ship. And they have another, that looks like an airlock door to me too. So that they're maybe, oh, you know what? I'll bet you dock with the stations through those doors. That's what I'll bet those are for. Okay, back to the cargo room. There's nothing over here. And over on this side is where you get the stairs to go up. Now this has multiple levels. I think it has 3 or 4 levels. So we're going to go up here and we're going to go have a look. I think most of the good stuff happens on deck 2. So we're going to go out. If these look like big ass gas tanks, that's because they are big ass gas tanks. This is where you hold the hydrogen, you hold the quantanium that you're going to sell to people. They're going to come up and they're going to try to dock with you, and then you can refuel them. And you set your price. You can see what your tanks have in them. Of course, you deploy your boom, and then on the side over here, you set your price. Now, I haven't done this yet in game where you connect with them, but supposedly it functions. You add your price, they agree to it, and then you start your flow rate. Now you can see with the flow rate slider. You need to control that because apparently you can give them more fuel than they pay for. They'll agree to a certain amount and they'll pay you for that certain amount. If you don't stop your flow rate on time, then you'll give them gas for free. Which, a lot of these ships probably don't hold that much, and right now fuel is so cheap it wouldn't matter. But it's got some little things where you can see how much fuel is in your tanks, and I believe it's supposed to be able to take in gas from gas clouds out there, kind of mine the hydrogen. I don't know about quantanium because I don't think quantanium comes in gaseous cloud form in the universe, but the hydrogen does. So, extend this boom here. They'll go attached to it like a fighter does to a KC-130, and then you fill them up. And of course, it looks like each one of these tanks has a little diagram of how much fuel the tank has in it. You can tell it if the fuel flow goes into the tank, comes out of the tank, or you just shut it off. All of them, if you want to, I guess if you need to do fuel management that way, you can. You'll probably be having hydrogen in some tanks and quantanium in other tanks. So how you configure it all, I'm not sure of yet because I haven't done it yet. But it looks like they've really thought out how to do that and to make it kind of interesting. So through here, this is the main bridge. As you can tell, this thing looks big because it is big. It's extremely big, and honestly, it kind of looks like a Freelancer up here. I guess most of the MISC ships kind of look like this. There are some weapons for the pilot. I believe there's also a ton of man turrets on this thing, which, if you're going to be flying a huge gas tank, you're going to want some protection. I hope they have a very strong shield system, because I can see these guys getting called out and getting jumped, and then basically saying, if you don't pay us, we're going to blow you up, and then blowing them up. So I'm hoping they have quantum drive that can fight interdiction, and that they have shields that can really withstand a lot of punishment. So after that, we're going to go up a little bit. We got to find stairs upward. There's upstairs. Now this is where the ship gets confusing. That way it's down a boom. We're going to go down that boom in a little while. Or not a boom. Well, I guess it's kind of a boom. So there's elevators here. And we'll go up one in a second. It's kind of a weird way that they did this here. So we'll go up the elevator that's up here. They both go to the same floor, and they're basically like 10 feet apart up there. But why not? You know, why not? So there's the other elevator. See, 10 feet apart. There you are. Other elevator. This is more where the crew lives, and the captain lives. And is this crew quarters? Yes, we are standing on beds. So this is where the crew goes, where they live. Bathroom, shower, whatever they need over here. And then I believe, oh, there's one of the turrets. That looks like a central turret on top. This is the kitchen and mess area. And then that looks like the captain's office and quarters. Because you've got to have a really cool desk if you're the captain. That just tells everybody that you're much cooler and so busy. So I'm going to come over here. They definitely have captain sheets on there. I love those. That's awesome. Captain bathroom. Gotta love the stainless steel. It's probably cold in the morning, but whatever. Man, what is through here? Anything through here? I don't know what this room is, but it's a room with stuff in it. Okay. Now to get out of here, instead of because they like to go down and then they automatically go up, and you just jump down and get out of there as soon as you can, or else you're going to be stuck on that floor for a few. Okay, now we're going to go down one of the booms. I don't know if a boom is the right word for it, but it's kind of a tail. Let's go have a... Actually, let's look at engineering over here. That, I guess, is the main drive. By the way, when you're searching this for dead bodies, all these places are just kind of a pain in the butt. There's so many doors up here, it's ridiculous. And it's just, yeah, you have to search it because somebody's going to be floating against the ceiling somewhere. And it just, if you got to find them all, you got to find them all. So get to know the ship when it's intact. So when you have to go and see it when it's destroyed, that you can find your way a little bit sooner. Like this little thing here. Now I'm going to put on a helmet so I have a flashlight because it's hard to see in here. They used to have little trapdoors out of the ventilation. I don't know if they still have it, but this looks like a secret compartment area or something. I don't know what it is. It's probably a secret compartment for smuggled goods. And you can see we're right above the fuel tanks in that whole catwalk area. Is that escape pods? So we're gonna go more engineering. I think it's back to engineering. And you got the boom on the other side. We don't need to go down there because, yeah, we just don't need to. We'll go down the elevator here. Back down to the main, the more useful floor, floor 2. Right back on the catwalk. Now this is where they used to have the little ventilation, like secret passages through the ventilation. Right up there, they used to have doors where you go up and you can climb through the vent. If they got rid of them, I'm very happy they did, because, you know, when you're on those missions looking for dead people, somehow they ended up in the vent. Don't ask how, but I guess when their ship was under attack, they decided they wanted to go hide in the vent. So it didn't really make a whole lot of sense, but whatever, maybe they did. Who knows? Maybe that's their safe space, in the vent. And, oh, escape pods. We're back to the bridge. It's nice to have escape pods next to the bridge if you're flying a big fuel tank, because you're probably going to blow up really fast. And yeah, no hidden compartment there. And I think that's all of the ship. But again, it's a really big ship. It's easy to get lost on, and it's very easy to forget stuff. So we'll just say that's it for now, though that might not be it. And then I'm gonna come back and see this boom sticking out here. You're gonna, there are docking. I believe you can auto dock to this thing once you get clearance. You do have to contact the ship and get clearance before you can dock with it. But then once you dock with it, you position yourself. I hope and think and hope you can do an auto dock to get on there, because you're not that far from tanks filled with hydrogen and quantanium that might blow up really bad if you run into it. So not getting that close would probably be a good idea. And of course, having computer guidance to connect you would always be a good idea. And anyway, so as you can see, it's a very, very, very big ship. Lots to it. And those are the pilot controlled guns there. They're pretty good size. If you could ever get that pig to maneuver around to where you're actually looking at the target, those guns could do a fair amount of damage. So anyway, that is pretty much it for days 7 and 8. Again, you got a lot of Crusader stuff going, and of course the MISC industrial stuff. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. There's more on the way. Thank you. Have a great one.